Well, good morning, lovely ladies and gentlemen. Steve Collins coming to you from beautiful, cloudy San Antonio, Texas, the second most powerful, passionate, and purposeful coach and speaker in the world. Hope you guys are fired up and ready for this fantastic Friday. So I'm going to have a conversation with you this morning. It's going to be geared more towards people in the real estate industry or people who are business owners, more so than folks who may have a job. Or it could be for someone who has a job that maybe believes that you deserve a raise. So you can look at it through two different lenses, but I will address it. The subject matter of the day is knowing your value. Know your value. And I'm going to explain likely why you discount your services if you do. So we'll go into this subject because as the coach and director of career development for the number one largest Keller Williams Realty office in the world, with over 1,000 agents, over $2 billion in written contracts, over 8,000 contracts written. I got a little something to say after 20 years in the business, and it is simply this. People who are newer to the business tend to give up their fees because, quite frankly, they should. And I will tell you what I mean by that. I want everybody to get a little baby butt hurt today, all right? Because you and only you, for a season of time, know if you have put in the hard work, if you have put in the long hours, if you have had the blood, the sweat, the tears, the conversations with people in your life who, by the way, love you and want good for you, who will say things like, "Are you going into real estate? Oh my God, how often do you get paid? Do they pay you weekly or monthly?" No. Real estate, do they have a good health insurance program? No. You are taking and assuming significant risk, and you have had to have conversations with people who truly care about you, who have already gotten in your head and messed with your head. And so here's a statement I want you to take with you wherever you go so that you will never forget it. Price is only an issue in the absence of value. Let me say that one more again for those of you who like to take notes. Price is only an issue in the absence of value. So, what is your job in your profession? Your job in your profession, if you are a realtor and not a realtor, because everybody starts out as a realtor until they show that they're willing to put in the hard work and do what it takes to succeed. Okay, so you earn the right to have 2 syllables instead of 3. You know if you are putting in the work, and you know if you are not putting in the work. And if you are not putting in the work, we get what we deserve in our imagination. So deep inside of your sanctified soul, you know you don't deserve it because you know you cheated. You know you took shortcuts. You know you went to the classes and you didn't apply what was taught. You know you read the book, but you didn't study the book, and you for certainly did not apply what you learned in the book. So because in your heart of hearts, you know that you haven't put in the effort and the energy and the time, you get what you deserve in your imagination. You know you don't deserve what is being offered to you for your services. Okay? Flip side of that. Like myself, for instance, I have had one instance in the 2 years that I have been coaching where I was unable to convince a family of value, okay? And here's what I have discovered. If I say something about me, it's I. If other people say something about me, it's mo better. So I simply had people communicate who have received my coaching and say what results they're getting so that they know this is coming from a place of someone who has actually experienced it. versus me making promises and saying, well, I can do this and I can do that. Your third-party endorsement, your happy clients are a fantastic source for communicating your value to people. 20 years in the business, this guy, okay, over 8,000 contracts were written in our office last year, over $2 billion in written contracts. My coaching clients represent 5% of that market. 5% of my office is in coaching. And yet, that 5% wrote over 1,100 of those 8,000 contracts, to the tune of over $200 million in sales, just with that little old people that I be helping out. You see, I have invested more in my non-required continuing education, personal growth, and development than I have invested in my cars. And I have some cool cars. And I like cars. I've invested more in this than in anything else. You know, I pay my coaches more than I pay for my house payment, ladies and gentlemen, because I realize the greatest investment on earth is not real estate. It's yo noggin, especially if you've learned to discipline yourself to take action on what you have learned. How many of you out there, by a show of hands, believe knowledge is power? I used to think that too. It ain't. Knowledge is not power. That's a bunk myth. You can graduate from MIT with a PhD, magna cum laude D, and then move into your mom and daddy's basement and play video games for the next 30 years, and your knowledge ain't nothing, honey. Knowledge is simply potential power, if not acted upon. It's the action that is taken from the knowledge that makes it power. Knowledge ain't power. Knowledge ain't power at all. It's just potential power. So, do you know your value? Do you know your worth? Do you have the ability to be at peace, by the way? If you are unable to help somebody understand your value, then you have a choice in that conversation. Your choice is, I will diminish myself, I will diminish my spirit, I will minimize what I have invested into myself, because see, Steve Collins knows he does a hard work. Steve Collins knows he's up at 4:15 in the morning doing CrossFit. Steve Collins knows he's in better shape than most 49-year-olds. Steve Collins knows he's got 1,000+ transactions under his belt. Steve Collins knows that he's helped thousands of families in the last 20 years. Steve Collins knows he's stepped on hundreds of landmines that I'm now able to help others not step on. And Steve Collins, most importantly, knows this. Married for 24 years. Love my wife. We have a great marriage. However, she is a fiery Latina, which means I'm always 3 fights away from being stabbed in the chest. So there's that. And her chancla throwing power is out of this world. And her chanclas have 7-inch heels on them, man, so they're deadly. All right? 7 kids. Wrote a book. My real estate team, without me, that I built, was in the top 1% in the city, only working our past clients and referrals. Not working new business. I signed a non-compete. I got about as much credibility as a realtor would be looking for. And yet, with sellers I've had in the past, and folks that are faced with the data, and yet still say, I ain't gonna pay it. You have the privilege of saying, I completely respect where you're at. I completely respect that. And that is your option and that is your choice. And you have the ability to manage your heart and say, I know my value and I know what I can do to help you. And we might just not be a good match. And that's okay. Tain't personal. Can't take it personal. You have to just understand that people are different. And if people don't see value, then they're unwilling to pay. And your ability to articulate the difference between what someone pays and what someone invests is a key factor in a conversation. If you have facts, if you have figures, if you have numbers, if you have third-party testimonies, if you have a history or a track record, empirical data that cannot be refuted, and another human being cannot see the value in that and is unwilling to take a chance on you, you just go, it's cool. It's all good. No worries. I got no worries with that whatsoever. So some people would say, let me debunk some of the vibe going out there. Some people would say, well, isn't that greedy if somebody doesn't discount their services? No, it's not greedy. If you've worked very long and very hard, let me tell you something about real estate after 20 years. It hasn't got easier. It's still complicated. I just got better. I got good at it. And so I'm making it look easy. My team makes it look easy, but it ain't. Deals fall apart every day. Deals blow up every day. Deals are blowing up left and right, man. It's like, Normandy on the beach. It's happening all the time. And the ability to keep that together and communicate effectively is a key element, you see. So the reality here is if you're unable to articulate your value, price is only an issue in the absence of value. And it's not greed for you to earn what you would normally earn. This is your profession. Are you a professional? Check. Are you highly educated? Check. Do you have incredible experience? Check. Do you have integrity? Check. Do you have character? Check. Do you care more about the people's welfare than the commission check? Check. You got all that stuff? That stuff is hard to come by. That stuff don't just get handed to you. You got to make tough choices and tough calls. And the best realtors are making significant life-changing decisions and advising their clients daily in ways that will affect them long beyond the transaction. And they're some of the most wonderful people I have the privilege of working with and serving. And so, no, that's not a greed factor. In fact, over the years, one of the things that I have loved is the privilege of being moved by my spirit to do stuff for free, not even at a discount. I have a big heart for single mamas. I have a huge heart for widows. I have a bleeding heart for suffering families. And by the grace of God, I have had the privilege over the last 20 years to do stuff people didn't know I was going to do till the very end for free because I chose to, not because I was being diminished in value or not perceived as one who could offer that value. So why do you discount your services? Because, honey, you don't believe in you. You don't believe in you because you're the one that follows you around when you come to work late and when you leave early and when you compromise and you have sloppy paperwork and when you have your schedule showing that you're going to be lead generating, making phone calls to procure buyers for your sellers for 3 hours and you actually do it for 7 minutes, then go get a Krispy Kreme donut, then talk to your friends, then go on Facebook, then you go to the new Builder luncheons and you drink a little bit of alcohol and then you get too tired and you come back to the office and you go, oh my God, I didn't do it. You feel guilty. And so when someone asks you for a discount, you say, okay, I'll do it. Know your value. And how do you know your value, ladies and gentlemen? You earn your value. You put in the hard work. When I used to do a little treadmill thing at the gym back in the day, I'd walk past a Krispy Kreme later in the day. I'd be like, that sure look good. When I started doing CrossFit, I'd look at that Krispy Kreme donut and I would be like, oh, hell no. You look like 900 burpees. I worked too damn hard this morning to put you in my body. You see, the harder you work, the easier it is to stick to your convictions. The harder you put in the effort, the easier it is to stick to your convictions. The harder you work and the more you invest in yourself, the more valuable you become in your own eyes in service to other people. Why do you discount your services? You don't believe in you. How can you fix it? Start doing the hard work. Start making the hard choices. Start having the hard conversations. I see y'all writing stuff on there, guys. I can't read it when I'm driving, but I want to just say hello to all y'all. Love you. I think I see Pammy Neal. Beautiful Pammy Neal with your precious babies and your wonderful husband. Good morning, Miss Pam. I know this. When you know your worth and you know your value, you can use other people who have experienced your services to speak on your behalf, to share on your behalf. And here's what you must understand. Price is only an issue in the absence of value. And you get what you deserve in your imagination. So if you're grinding and flowing, you know what you're worth. And you can unashamedly, unapologetically say, this is the fee that I earn for what I do. There's a reason why companies pay hundreds and thousands of dollars for the best lawyers. There's a reason people pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for the best doctors. Ladies and gentlemen, real estate agents ain't the same. Having a license does not make them the same. Imagine that you had to hire a driver to drive in a race, in a NASCAR race, and you had a fee that you were going to pay these 3 drivers, and 3 drivers applied for the job, and it was $1 million prize, okay? You could hire my mom, Miss Felicia Collins, I love you, mama, who has been driving twice as long as Jeff Gordon. She's got twice as much experience as Jeff Gordon. You could hire my baby girl, Victoria, who's been driving years. So, hey, she's got all the time in the world to help you, all the time in the world, all the energy. She can do it all. Or you can hire Jeff Gordon. Now, who would you hire? Jeff Gordon? Well, why? Well, Steve, I would hire him, quite frankly, because he is a professional. That is what he does. He has a track record of winning. He wins. That's why I would hire Jeff Gordon. Well, but honey, hold on a second. No. My mama has a license. My daughter has a license. Jeff Gordon has a license. They have a license. They're the same, right? No, they ain't the same, Steve. I'd hire Jeff. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the Jeff Gordon of Real Estate. I'm Jeff Gordon Coaching. There's a difference. There's a difference. And this is conversations that we have to help people understand the value that we bring. Third-party endorsement is the best way to communicate and articulate your value proposition. Let others talk about you. Let others shine it. Have numbers to be able to say, there's 1,000 realtors in this here building. 5% of them are coaching with me. We wrote 8,000 contracts last year, and 1,100 of those contracts were written by my 5%. What? Numbers don't lie. Testimonies don't lie. The ability to help save people from crap they don't even know is in front of them is a tremendous value. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're discounting yourself, it's simply because in your heart of hearts, you truly don't believe that you put in the time and the effort and the energy to become who you are today, to be able to charge what's normal out there. If you find yourself compromising that, it's likely because you don't believe in yourself enough. And by the way, we can help you with that. We can help you with that. Zig Ziglar, as a certified coach and trainer, one of 15 in the world, here's the deal. You have a spiritual life. You have a physical life. You have a mental life. You have an emotional life. You have a married life. You have a parenting life. You have a financial life. You have a career. You have this entire spectrum of stuff that's more than just a freaking number on a chart. And it's all integrated. And the ability to orchestrate and finesse this life to be highly productive in each area, that is a art and a skill. Ladies and gentlemen, know your worth, know your value, know who you are, and remember your history. Look at the testimonies of the people that you have served. And remind yourself not only of who you are, but of whose you are. Don't let someone who doesn't see your value allow you to be diminished. Stand firm, stand strong, put in the hard work, and become the person who can gladly say, this is what I charge, and if we're not comfortable with that, that's okay. I'm just not going to be the person to help you. And if you ever change your mind, I will make myself available to you. Become the person that deserves to earn what you earn. Have a great day, guys.